If you've ever driven from Gauteng to the Eastern Cape, then you know it's no small feat. The first time I did this by myself was during the night back in 2019 after a full day of activity with no rest. I drove for about 12 hours, most of those hours were in the dark, and whatever little daylight I had was covered in thick fog. When I finally arrived in Johannesburg in the early hours of the morning after a long night, I promised myself I'd never do it again, except I did. I broke that promise to myself and I drove from Pretoria to Ngcobo in 2024 and then drove back from Ngcobo to Pretoria a few days later. On this particular trip, I wasn't alone. I was with 3 to 4 other people in the car, and you'd think I'd have help driving, but no. I was the only one who could drive, so I did it all by myself the second and third time round. So once again, I told myself I won't be putting myself through that again, and if I ever had to, it would be more like a road trip with multiple rest stops with longer breaks. And once again, I went against my own word in 2025 and did another long drive, 12 hours straight, and it was nothing like a road trip, but I rushed myself in order to get to my destination as soon as I possibly could. At this point, how can I trust my own word to myself? Anyway, welcome to my channel. I'm Miss and I'm so happy to have you here. In this video, I drive from Pretoria, make a stop in Ngcobo for one night, and then drive to East London the following day. I'll be showing the trip while on the road, the fuel stops that I made, and a couple of photos of things I found interesting along the way. So grab a drink and a snack of your choice and enjoy. When I left Pretoria early that morning, I was both excited for a fresh start and nervous about how things would work out for me in a different place. Every single thing I owned fit into my small car. Yeah, I don't own a lot of things. So I had basically packed up my entire life and I was about to start over. Having minimal possessions worked out to my advantage this one time because it did not take a whole lot of admin for me to move, and I only had one trip to make. The only problem was that I still had no idea where I'd live because I had not secured the place that I would eventually call home. But I was fortunate enough to have a friend who would accommodate me while I figured it out. God bless her, because she really came through when I needed it. Anyway, here's a visual illustration of my trip on maps, coming right up. I drove from the northeastern part of the country all the way to the southeastern coast. After leaving Johannesburg via the N1, I joined the N6 after Bloem. That took me to Komani, after which I joined the R61 to Ngcobo. The R409 took me to Ndabakazi, and eventually I joined the N2 to East London. And that's just one of the several ways you can take from Gauteng to the Eastern Cape. On the way, I kept seeing a group of bikers, some of which you've already seen in a few minutes ago in this video, both on the road and at fuel stations. They look so cool on their bikes, but I just can't imagine what it must be like doing long distance on a bike going over a certain speed. I was really hoping for sunny weather on this day so that I could document the sights around me under pleasant light conditions, but it was mostly cloudy. The sun showed up every once in a while and for very short periods of time. By the way, if you're a regular on this channel, you will have noticed that I'm speaking for the first time ever. So if you're used to my silent videos, I realize that this might be a surprise, but please bear with me. I thought I'd try something different. Remember those bikers I mentioned earlier? We see them here again, and we'll meet them again in Bloem. I recently came across a YouTube video of a lady driving long distance on her motorbike from Cape Town to Komani. She brought in a whole new perspective of what it must be like, and I thought it was really interesting. It rained a few times on the road, more like light drizzling actually. You can tell by the dark sky in a few clips like this one. So while recording this, I noticed that every time I said words with clicks in them, like closer words with clicks in them, the recording software for some reason silences the clicks or softens them, and it makes it sound as though I can't say the words or I'm saying them wrong. I don't know why it's doing that. I'll have to look into that, but I realized that after I had recorded a bunch of voiceovers for this video, so just a warning for those who notice. I decided to have breakfast when I got to the filling station in Bloem. I wanted to sit at the restaurant and enjoy my meal comfortably for once on a trip, but I found that they were in the process of renovations. So they had a little tuck shop-like container for the snacks and a food truck situation in place of the restaurant. So I had my breakfast in the car instead and got some snacks for the rest of the trip. When you're on this part of the country, specifically driving on the national road, all you see are flat areas. There's barely any mountains or hills to see. It's all so flat, and it's honestly so boring until you cross the next provincial border. Then you've got mountains for days, and then it gets exciting. I'm such a mountain person. Mountains and oceans, that's what I prefer. It may have something to do with the villages I grew up in, where you see mountains in every direction you turn toward, and you have mountain passes for scenery when driving out somewhere. This is Reddersburg. I believe it translates to Savior's Town from the phrase God our Savior. It was established by a church that bought a farm in the area many years ago, and for the longest time, the town was governed by laws and regulations that were established by the local church. After some time, the church handed over the management of the town to a local municipality with an agreement that the municipality would pay the church on an annual basis. I don't know if that still stands today. Interesting fact, if an individual was found using profane language back when the management was still under the local church, they could be banished from the town. Now we're in Smithfield, the third oldest town in the Free State. Apparently it attracts a lot of artists into their galleries and studios. They used to have what they called the Bloemfontein Preview Arts Festival. Performers that were headed to the National Arts Festival from Joburg and Durban would make a stop here on their way to Makhanda. They made Smithfield their final rehearsal before the big performances at the main arts festival. So artists would hold shows and perform their acts for the community in Smithfield. I've seen an old YouTube video of some performances that were done here, but the whole thing apparently faded. It's such a cool concept though.
Come up for later at night, you know we'll be alright. I'll stay here by your side, can call me anytime. Those days where you feel blue, you know I got you blue. Those moments have passed too, you know that I'll come through. You know that I'll be there by your side. Those days where you don't feel alright, 'cause I'm counting on you, baby, I do. We've been through thick and thin together. You know that I am yours forever. You know that I'll be there for you, girl. My summer dream. You know that this is how I feel. My baby girl, my happy meal. Let's go to the park. Go skate around in the dark. We could say hi to the moon and then walk home to this groove. Come up for later at night. You know we'll be alright. I'll stay here by your side. Can call me anytime. Those days where you feel blue, you know I got you blue. Those moments have passed too, you know that I'll come through.
Now we're passing through the sleepy town of Rouxville. It was established as a halfway station between Smithfield and Maledzwai back in the day when people used horses and wagons. The distance between Smithfield and Maledzwai was too long for horses to travel in on the same day, so this town was the solution to that challenge. It was named after a church minister who used to travel on horseback to hold services for farmers in the area before it was officially a town. These small towns seem to have a church-related connection to how they were established or named, much like Reddersburg. If it's not a war story, it's a church story. You'll see as we progress in the video.
Give it all. Anywhere you say, anywhere you say, anywhere.
Welcome to the Eastern Cape. We're passing the Hertog Bridge near the border between the Free State and the Eastern Cape. It goes over the Orange River into Maledzwai, formerly known as Alwell North. I know that a lot of you use this bridge as an indicator that you're almost home, lol. I stopped at a cafe right after the bridge for some coffee and was unfortunately disappointed in it. Never again. Maledzwai translates to place of salt because of the popular mineral hot springs in the area. Before the name change back in 2016, it was Alwell North in commemoration of the Battle of Alwell all the way in India. It was named by the same person who named Smithfield, which we passed. He's also the same person that Harry Smith, also in the Free State, is named after. And Lady Smith was named after his wife. An interesting fact, it is suffixed by north because there was already an Alwell South back in the day, which is today's Mossel Bay in the Western Cape. You can tell we've left the flat plains of the Free State and have entered quite literally the greener mountainous landscapes of the Eastern Cape as we enter the Eastern Cape Highlands. Jamestown, like a few other places in the Eastern Cape, is famous for its snow and is one of the coldest places in the country and known as the icebox of the N6. If you're passing through this area in winter, you might experience a snow closure on your way to Komani depending on which direction you're taking. Unlike some of the other towns we've passed that are named after governors and generals, Jamestown was named after a local farmer, James Wagenaar. At first, we'll get back to that. Just like Rouxville, the town was also established out of necessity as a means to provide relief to ox wagons traveling from East London to diamond mines in Kimberley and gold mines in Joburg. Jamestown has a lot of weeping willow trees, which are native to China. The reason is because the area used to be a wetland, and the residents had a hard time maintaining their building structures as their foundations kept sinking into the mud. So the weeping willow and poplar trees were planted to help drain the soil. Now, remember how I said we'd get back to the naming of this town? It so happens that when it was renamed back in 2015, it was to honor a reverend who was famous for believing that the church should actively fight for social justice, and he so happens to be named James as well. The official name of the town is James Galata, though I suppose Jamestown, the former name, works out as well. So you have a town named after two individuals who were both named James, and it's the second town we've passed on the N6 whose naming history has a religious reference. Well, only partly, because the latter James was also a political activist. The Pinhook Pass is a significant portion of the N6. It connects the high plateau, which peaks at roughly 1,844 meters above sea level, to the low-lying areas of the Eastern Cape, like Komani and the areas that lead to the coast. It's an interesting mountain pass because you'll notice the elevation on the road, then suddenly it feels like you're dropping down, but while doing that, it has spectacular views of the surrounding landscapes. Once I started seeing the road signs for Multino, Dordrecht, Stakstroom, and Hanklip, I felt so nostalgic because I started reminiscing about high school netball matches because we used to play matches in some of those areas, or they would travel to our school. It was a fun time back then, before I had any real responsibilities. Did you know that Komani was designed as a giant permanent military machine? It's all in the hexagon design of the town center. Sir George Cathcart, the person behind Komani's design, did not just want a town. He wanted a stronghold and fortress. So he designed the hexagonal shape in the center of town and had 6 streets radiating outward from the structure. The idea was that if the town was ever attacked, the women and children would rush to the center while the soldiers would set out the weapons within the hexagon. Since the streets were straight and radiating outward, the soldiers had a clear line of fire down every major avenue, and no enemy would be able to approach without getting hit first. None of that ever happened though. It is the fortress that never was, I guess. The hexagon eventually became a marketplace and the firing positions were replaced by fountains and gardens. Did you also know that the name Komani, which was made official in 2016, although the local population had already been using it for many years before that, was the name of a Khoi leader in the area, and it's also the name of the river that runs through the town. Looking back, I wish I had stopped here for some photos because the light was amazing. It was the perfect time for some golden hour shots, but at this point I was feeling really tired and kind of just wanted to get home already. But I still had another 2 or 2.5 hours ahead of me. The photos would have been worth it though, so I'll just keep that in mind for another time. It wasn't long before the sky turned dark and grey. It was almost as though someone had just turned off a switch. One moment, the light was sunny and soft and golden, and without warning, it was suddenly dark and grey and gloomy. But look at those mountains though. Look at that beauty. You have to have been there in person because it looks and feels so cinematic in person. The gloomy skies add so much drama. The fog makes it feel like a movie. It's a picture-perfect moment that I would have loved to capture. I did not though, unfortunately. As excited as I was by what I saw, I still felt tired. When you get onto the R61, the road from Komani headed to places like Ngcobo, Ngcobo, Mthatha, etc., there's a noticeable shift in the aesthetics. It changes from empty-looking fenced farms into rolling hills and scattered villages with a communal landscape and animals that roam free. We passed Ngcobo. I did not drive into town, but I'll tell you a little about it like I've done with the other towns that we've passed. The name Ngcobo is a combination of two words. Gofa means to press or manipulate something. Imvaba is a milk bag made of goat skin. There's apparently a stream near the town that when it's full from rainwater, it froths up in bubbles like milk being shaken in a skin bag that's used to make amasi, which is sour milk. That association of the stream with the milk is where the name of the place came from. I hope I explained that in a way that makes sense to you. Anyway, Chris Hani, anti-apartheid activist, was born in a rural village that's under this town, a village called Sabalele. The villages we have entered now that you see on your screen are under Ngcobo. The rain started getting pretty serious and the crowds you see were making their way home from a soccer match that ended as the rain started to pour. After one night spent in Ngcobo, I drove to East London the following day, and I'll hopefully make a separate video about that so as to not make this one too long. If you made it to this point, I thank you for staying, and I hope you enjoyed both the visuals and the narration. I hope you liked my photos. I'd love to know what you thought of them. I enjoyed making this, and thank you for being here.